Hey FlossTube, it's Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching, back for FlossTube number 13 after way too long of a time. It is Sunday, April 4th. Happy Easter to those who celebrate. My family and I all do, and so we're rejoicing in this day. And if you do not celebrate, then I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday and had a great weekend. Hope the weather's been nice. It's bright blue, sunny skies here. Not as warm as I wish it was, but it's a gorgeous day, and I hope that you're enjoying your weekend as well. I can't believe it's been almost 3 months since I have been on here. I have missed you all so much. I've missed the cross-stitching community so much. School completely took over my life. We survived neuro. We survived it well, thankfully. But it definitely was a challenge. I don't think I stitched more than 6 days in all of March, and even those 6 days were not as much as I would have liked. So my stitching today is not going to be as much as you would expect after 3 months. But any free time I did have, I mean, it was a stressful block, but most of the free time I did have was spent wedding planning. We're within 100 days, which is just so ridiculous to think about. We pretty much, if I wasn't studying or sleeping, I was on Etsy or talking with mom or talking to our resort, just like kind of getting everything kind of squared away. We're at the minute little details at this point, which are so fun. It's been a wonderful experience. Mom and I have been so in sync with everything. She has been, and I mean, my dad too, of course, our whole family has been so committed to our wishes and what we want out of this. And thankfully it's in line with what they also wanted. So we really haven't had any major issues, even really any minor issues. So it's been a really good experience. And so a lot of my free time was like shopping on Etsy. We are very, this wedding is sponsored by Etsy in a lot of ways. I really enjoy the uniqueness and the supporting independent artists for different things. I discovered the within the US filter on Etsy a little late in the game, but didn't know that was even a thing. But I mean, it's really interesting. I would just like put in the search bar like champagne flutes, that we'll drink during the reception. And we absolutely fell in love with these champagne flutes. They're hand blown, they're hand painted, like they're gorgeous. Not as much as I would expect them to be for that. And then I go to check out and it's like shipping from Bulgaria. And I was like, okay, so our champagne flutes are coming from Bulgaria. So it's been really fun to kind of support independent artists all over the world. We have kind of an international aspect, and that's been a couple other things too. Like my hair piece is coming from Ireland. Accidentally, it just all works out. You fall in love with something, and the Ireland was free shipping to the United States. So I don't know how that happened, but it worked out. So it's just been, I've really been just having fun with it. David's been very supportive and also a little hands off, which is fun sometimes, because then it's like, well, this is what we're doing. He's been very involved in the things that like in his mind actually matter. Like he doesn't care what the table numbers look like. I care what the table numbers look like, but he's kind of like, if you like it, babe, I'm happy. I'm like, good, thank you. So he has had some things that he finds very important, and we have to, we discussed that. And but we've been very in sync as well. So it's been fun. But that's been a lot of my free time. Like last week was my block break, and I was in Atlanta a few days with mom and dad, and we went around shopping and like getting reception table decorations, and I did a dress rehearsal or hair rehearsal with my hairdresser, who's also David's aunt. We had my first round of alterations with my wedding dress. So it's been really good. We kind of had to, this is like the last week that last week was like the last week I can fully dedicate to just wedding things. Cause tomorrow block 4 starts, which is cardiopulmonology, which is just going to be very different from neuro. This is going to be very physics heavy, which has never been my favorite subject. I didn't like it really, didn't click I mean, I did well, but it didn't click with my interests at any level that I took it. So I'm hoping now that it's going to be more medical related, I will enjoy it a little bit more. Thankfully, I have a very good group of friends here. We're all very supportive and kind of all on the same page. So I'm really excited. We knocked out neuro and we'll knock out cardio pulm. So trying to think what else. Thank you all for I get messages occasionally, and I really appreciate the support and the just checking in, making sure everything's okay. Before last Thursday, I had not watched FlossTube since early February, so I will never again be caught up on FlossTube in my life. But occasionally, I would go to, and then I'd remember something I had to do, or we were leaving to go somewhere, or it just wasn't really, we did fall in love with, we were kind of binging Schitt's Creek. I know we're so late to that game, but actually last night we watched the series finale, and then the extra video that I don't remember what they called it. It was kind of like a documentary of the last season, and oh my gosh, just so much love for Schitt's Creek. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend. It takes a couple episodes for you to kind of get in the groove. My parents were kind of and then they got in it and they're like, oh my God, we love it. So definitely recommend that show. I am a combination of Alexis and David, according to my David. There were a couple times we were watching and Alexis would say something and he was just laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? I don't think it was that funny. And he was like, I've watched or heard you say that exact same thing before. And I'm like, thanks. So if you're wondering what I'm like off camera, it is a combination of David and Alexis, apparently. So no shame. You know what? I love them. They're great. No shame. But yes, that was kind of, we had an evening, we still were very committed to having date night once a week. So we'd come home and watch Schitt's Creek or something. So it's been good. David had his bachelor parties. I had my bachelorette party. So we are bachelorette out. So he had kind of two. His groomsmen took him out one weekend, and then the next weekend his uncle and cousins took him out. So he had kind of a dual one. This past weekend, no, so not this weekend, but the weekend before. So the 26th, March 26th through 28th. I went up to Asheville with my maid of honor, one of my bridesmaids, two friends here from med school, and then one friend who we've known forever, very close with. Her husband is going to be one of the groomsmen for David, and David actually was the officiant at their wedding. So we're very close to them. She actually surprised me. I didn't think she was going to be able to come. And then Friday night we were in Asheville. I don't know if I said that. We were in Asheville. And so we were at Airbnb Asheville Friday, and it was kind of late. And then my friends played a joke on me, and I went to the door and there was Emma. So it was really sweet, and it was really fun, and I screamed, and it was just, we had such a great weekend. None of the girls not all of them had met everyone else. So groups of them knew each other, but it was the first time we were all together, and we just had a wonderful time. It was amazing. Friday we stayed close to the Airbnb, and then Saturday we toured Biltmore, which is one of my favorite places ever. A lot of them hadn't been there before, so it was the first time for them. So we toured Biltmore, bought a bunch of wine at the winery, and then Saturday evening we went out, we changed and went out to downtown, and we had dinner down there, and then we went to a couple different breweries, kind of brewery hopped a little bit. One of them was actually a cider bar brewery. It's like a brewery, but for only cider, and very good. And we ended the night a little bit early, and then just partied at the Airbnb all night Saturday. Had brunch downtown Sunday morning, and then headed back to our various locations. Georgia, Auburn, North Dakota, Cincinnati. Yeah, and then a couple places in Georgia, Ackworth versus Atlanta. So yeah, we were kind of coming from all over the place. My maid of honor, Maddie, I've known her since middle school. She is an amazing person. And she was actually living in Fargo right now. So she came all the way from Fargo for this. But it was wonderful. I'll actually include a couple pictures at the end. I didn't make a post about it. I wasn't sure. It wasn't stitching related, so I didn't know if people would actually be interested in it, but I'll put a couple photos at the end here so you can see. She had for Friday night, the breweries, she had t-shirts made up, and mine was white, and it said, brews before I do's, because we were going to different breweries, and then the others said, brew crew, I think it was team brew crew or something. So it was and they were like dark gray. So and then we had flannels. We would have because it wasn't freezing cold, like we didn't need a jacket, but it could get like at night it was a little a little chilly, and so because we didn't want to carry a jacket around, we did flannels with the shirts. So if it got cold, we could put the flannel on. If not, we just had it around our waist. So it was really fun. We were not the only bachelorette party there. I think we ran into 4 different bachelorette parties at Biltmore, and then one while we were down at the different breweries. So it was really fun. They all did an incredible job. Paige, my bridesmaid, did an amazing video. David recorded some answers to some questions. So they would have like a question, and then I would answer it, and then we'd watch David's response to it. And it was just so cute. We just had a really great time. So that was wonderful. And then they actually dropped me off, because you pretty much pass through my hometown to get from Asheville to Auburn. And so my friends here in med school, they dropped Maddie and I off in Atlanta, like at our houses on the way back. So, and then my mom brought me back to Auburn on Tuesday. So, and then I went back on Friday. So kind of a little bit of hopping around last week, but all wonderful things. So yeah, so that's kind of, I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that happened to talk about that's not stitching related. If I think of something, I'll probably just randomly talk about it. So I think that's it for that. So now I guess I should get to some stitching. We're 12 minutes in. Should probably show you some things that I worked on. I got to hark back all the way to January. So I think my last video was like January 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there. It was the first week of January. And this was almost a finish. And then I finished it afterwards. I'll insert a photo of where it was last time you saw it. And then this is where it ends. This is Winter's Wisdom by Cottage Garden Samplings. And this is the finish on it. I didn't change anything about it except the fabric. So the fabric is 36 count smoke blue, and I do 2/2 on 36 count. I just like the coverage and the thickness more. So I always do 2/2. This was a wonderful gift from my very dear special friend Taylor in Cincinnati. She gifted this to me, and I absolutely loved stitching it very, very much. So do kind of a close-up. But I used all the called for threads, all the called, pattern as called for. I don't think I changed anything on it. I did include, see Mom, I included my initials and the date. So that's my one finish. And yeah, I finished this on January 11th. So I didn't really think back, but super excited. So this now will go with my Merry and Bright. That I think I showed that in my last video, the finish. And then I have an FFO, which I never have, but I have one. So in middle January, I shipped a couple things to be finished by Keepsakes. And then my wonderful friend Paige, who lives in Cincinnati, who I met in Cincinnati, before she came, she drove from Cincinnati to Asheville. And so before she left, she swung by Keepsakes and picked up my finishes and brought them to me, along with a couple special surprises. So she picked those up, and so I was able to get those without having to deal with shipping or concerns of that. So they safely arrived in Asheville. And this one, I finished this last June. And I started it during Mania last year. And it was kind of one of those pieces that I love-hate, because I absolutely am obsessed with it, but it gave me a lot of trouble while I was stitching it. And I did not know what I was going to do with it. And then I saw this piece I had, which I'll show you in a second. And I was like, I wonder. And I just randomly had it in a box. And I was like, wait a minute. And so I saw it and I put them together and it was perfect. So I shipped them. But the pattern is A Walk on the Beach by Erica Michaels. It's on 40 count sand linen. And then this, I have a friend, well, I guess, yeah, a friend, acquaintance from high school who I still am like on social media with. And she started doing these like pour overs on canvas. And when she first started, gosh, I think it was a couple years ago. I think it was early 2019. I think she posted these. I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like the water. It looks like the ocean. I'm obsessed. So I bought them from her. And I hadn't really figured out what I was going to do with them because I got this one and then 2 other like smaller ones. And then I saw this and I was like, wait, that works. And so I shipped them to Keepsakes. Barbara put the twine around it. You can kind of see it. She followed the shape of it. If you do this pattern, I don't know if it's been corrected at this point, but the 2 brown colors were flipped in the original pattern. It has been, there is a correction like on her website, but just if you buy it, you know, you might get an older version or something that wasn't corrected. So just throwing that out there, it might be, it's meant to be on the gauze, which is, it's one of those, because Erica Michaels does a lot of like the 40 count gauze. I did not want to do the gauze, so I just did 40 count linen, but then the gauze, you do all the fill in. And so this fill in, I recommend if you do this pattern, do the fill in as you go. I kept all of that at the end. I would not recommend doing that unless you really like to do fill in and then, you know, you're your own person. But I would recommend going as you go. But it was so fun. The colors are gorgeous. I'm super excited to have this on I'm going to add this to our beach wall. Well, David's going to add it to our beach wall. And I love it. I don't know if she used to have an Etsy store. It doesn't look like it's active right now because I looked before I started filming. I will, I'll still link it below in case, or at least she has an Instagram for this. So I'll put her Instagram because I think she's a little bit more active on that. If you're interested, it's Kaleidoscope Pours is the name that but I don't know if she's active right now. I don't talk to her very regularly. So I did try messaging her and I haven't heard back yet. So I'll keep you updated on that if you're interested. I think there are a lot of shops that do this kind of kaleidoscope, or that's her name, that do this pour over paint. So if you're interested in that, but I love it. So thank you, Keepsakes. Thank you, Barbara. There's a couple other finishes that I can't show those yet. So you'll have to wait and see on those, but all right. And then whips. So I'm going to do kind of whips and starts all together because I was very strongly starting with, I started out very strong with Whip Go. So I did start Whip Go, which if you don't know about Whip Go, it's the brainchild of Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And you essentially create like a bingo, Whip Go bingo card. And at the beginning of the year, you create your different, it's really up to you what you want to do, but you have 24 projects, whatever they may be, because the middle space is free, 24 projects, and then you determine your own goal for those projects. And then I think it's like the 26th, 27th of every month, Jessie calls 2 to 3 numbers. The 3 numbers was back in January for like the free space, but she now calls 2 numbers every month. And then the idea is like, you focus on those 2 projects for that month. And so that's kind of what I was doing for January and February. So Winter's Wisdom was actually called in January, which is why I focused on a finish for that. My goal was to finish that. And then the other one was a gift that I finished and got finished that you can't see yet. And then so that was January. And so the way I've kind of been tackling it for Whip Go is that for January and February, because March, all bets were off for March, was, okay, I'm going to do the numbers, the projects that are called for Whip Go. And then once I finish those goals, then I can work on whatever I want. I can either continue working on those or I can work on something else. So for January, I finished both Whip Go goals really early on. Actually, I think I showed you the gift. Okay, so if you go back to my last video, I think I showed you my finish for January. I don't want to show it again because I don't know. status of the people that watch this. So if you're interested, go back. I got it finished though. Whatever I showed last, I finished. So I got finished at Keepsakes. So anyway, so I finished those two things and I was kind of like, what do I want to work on? Because those were finishes. So I I looked at my goals and I was like, well, what's kind of a lofty goal? That I have time right now. School hasn't, isn't at its peak yet. So what do I have time and want to work on? So I picked up Patchwork Quaker because my goal for this piece was to finish the second page, which is kind of like here. It's not exact, but it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. So it's 6 pages. My goal for this year is to do pages 2 and 3. Is to finish page 2 and then do all of page 3. Well, I was almost done with page 2. And so I decided to pick this up, finish page 2, and then when it's actually called, I can start page 3, was kind of my thought process on that. So here it is. And this is part of the hashtag #CuzQuaker Sal that I am doing with X-Stitch MD Shiloh. Shiloh, I have to catch up on you. I'm sorry. I don't know if you've worked on this recently. I have so much catching up to do. So here it is. So I finished all of page 1 and dipped into page 3 a little bit. So this motif here, like it cut off like right here. And so that's part of, I didn't want to do just like 3/4 of a motif. So I finished that, but there's page 1. And then I finished page 2. And all I had left to do on page 2 was to finish this big motif. I hadn't finished that one, which is really most of the page, if you think about it. So finished that. And so now when I pick it up, I can move down, I think page 3. Yeah, page 3 is going to be part of this. So it's going to be down here more. This is on 40 count platinum. And I'm using all the call for colors. I'm not changing anything about this one. Needle minder from my wonderful friend Taylor. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm excited to get back to this. So when we start page 3, it's gonna be this motif, this right here. It's kind of like right there. So that'll be really fun to do when it does get called. It's kind of funny, though all the ones that have been called so far are all ones that I haven't already worked on. So when things do start getting called, like I'm gonna be able to like knock them off. It's gonna be great. So I worked on that, and then once I finished page 2, I decided to move on to I will insert a picture of the full pattern. I am doing this. So we started, this is part of the Smooth Seesaw from Smooth Sea. So it's Emma Condon did a book and Cross Stitch for the Soul. And she did not name her patterns in the book. It's like design 1, design 2, design 3. So I personally named it Smooth Sea. And then Caroline, I'm not sure now. She is Crafts Makeup Food on Instagram. She was starting it for her husband, I believe. And so we were like, well, let's start a Sal. So we decided Smooth Sea Sal, and now Morgan from Honeybee Stitcher has also started it, and then I think a few other people have too. So this is where I am now. I became obsessed. So my goal for this piece was just to finish the C. That was the only goal for this year. And then I finished that a lot faster than I thought I would. So I just kept going. And so this is now officially over halfway done. I even did all the back stitch because I'm like, I just want all of the back. I want that whole top half done. So I did. David and I had to make a quick trip to Pensacola for him to get some uniform things. And so on that trip, I had a lot of car time to stitch. So that's what we did. That's what I did. So now and it hasn't been called yet. So now when it does get called, I'm just going to try and knock it out. I'm going to try and finish because the bottom part is Never Made It, and it's just Skillful Sailor. Now it's big wording, but Skillful Sailor. And this is on 40 count flax. yeah, and I love it. I love it so much. David's really excited about it. He wants it done. I want it done. I'm going to try and get it done. Be nice to have more finishes this year than the ones that were already called and finished. So that pretty much, I think I stopped that. I think I got halfway like on the last day of January. So that was my January stitching. And then February, the two projects called for me for February were to start Celebrate Christmas and to finish a page on Starry Night Over the Road. So I started out with Celebrate Christmas. And the way everyone kind of tackles these trays differently. So this is Celebrate Christmas by Madame Chantilly. Everyone kind of tackles these a little differently. My method for starting these patterns is I always start in the middle. And then I do the entire tray. And then that way, when I pick it back up again, or once I finish the tray, I can just fill in the fun motifs. So, and then I'm kind of done with that color too, and I don't have to worry about, now where that gets a little tricky is like sometimes in the middle, like I'm not comfortable counting that far up or this far up. So I did do the ornament and the Santa sack. So, because I just didn't want to accidentally miscount that. So if there's something in the middle like that, I will just go ahead and knock that part out. But, so my goal for this year on this pattern was just to do the tray outline. I did change, so I didn't have 815, but I did have C816, which is the étoile, which I think you can kind of see some sparkle there. So I decided I'm going to change all of the red from the called for 815 to the 816 étoile. Just add a little bit of sparkle to the pattern. If it doesn't make sense, I'll change it. But for now, I was actually able, this went so much faster than I thought it would. And I was able to knock out the whole tray. So here's where we're at. This is on 40 count water green. Let me see how I can do this. And there is the Santa's toy and the ornament. And you can kind of see, I think you're getting that shimmer a little bit. So yeah, so now when I pick it back up again, I can start filling in the different levels. I don't know which level I'll start with. I think I like starting with the bottom because, so I've also completed Celebrate Summer. I was obsessed with that last summer. Finished it right before med school started. So this takes a while. It did on Celebrate Summer, so I assume it is for year 2. So I think what I'm gonna do is start here, get the outline and the words in, and then do a motif, do a line of gray. Do the leaves, do a line of gray. Because that's what I did for the summer, and it really did go a whole lot faster. If I could just I'm gonna do something fun, and then I'm gonna do a line of gray. And then I'll do something fun and come back. So that was how I tackled that last year. So that's how I'll tackle it again this year. But I don't know when this is gonna come out again. Probably not until we get closer to winter time again. Right now, I am very much in the summer, spring mood. So I don't really want to work on this right now. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm really excited with how far I got on it, that next time I pick it up, it's gonna be only fun things. So then I finished that, and then for Valentine's Day, I decided for David that I would work on Starry Night Over the Road. So this is an artisty pattern that he asked me to do for him after I finished his last full coverage piece. This is his favorite painting, so instead of just buying the print, he asked me to cross stitch it for him. So things we do for love. So I am doing it's artisty. I am doing this on 18 count. Ignore this. This is old 18 count Fiddler's Ada in light oatmeal. And my goal for this was to finish the first page. And I think there are 18 pages. So clearly a very long-term project. But this is where I'm at on it. I'll show you. This is where I was before. And then this is where I'm at now. So sorry for the messy threads, but So is life. So here's the first page done. And it really does look good. Pattern Keeper saved this project 100%. If Pattern Keeper did not exist, this project would have been thrown in the trash a very long time ago. So I got a lot done. It's been fun. I'm trying to do the feathering look to it. I know that's not exactly feathering, but just having extra stitches so that when I start the next page, there won't be like a straight line is what I was attempting to do. So there we are. He's excited. He's happy. He asked if I was bringing this on the honeymoon to work on. I'm like, is this what you want me to be doing on our honeymoon? Because, I mean, I can, but I think you'd rather us to go like on fishing trips instead. Get your minds out of the gutter. But yes, that's where we are. Let's see. Oh, and then the last one for February was a new start with a new friend. So right before I filmed my last video, like as I was preparing for it, I was watching the first video of Evelyn across the pond, who I had just started her video, so I had forgotten about it by the time that I was filming mine. And but now, like, she has become a good FlossTube IG friend for me. I really enjoy Evelyn. She's knocking out those videos and those projects at this point. She's pretty far along, but we discovered that we have a mutual love for Madame Chantilly and her trays. And then Madame Chantilly announced end of January, early February, I think, she had completed and was releasing the final Celebrate tray for Celebrate Winter. So we had Celebrate Christmas, now she did Celebrate Winter. And so Evelyn and I decided that we would do a sell for it and start it. The pattern was not going to necessarily be ready to be, I mean, there's a possibility you could get it by February 20th, but she and I were super impatient, mutually impatient, and actually messaged Madame Chantilly on Etsy and had her send us a PDF version of that. I did that also for Celebrate Summer back in June because I wanted to start it for my birthday, and there was no way Keepsakes or anyone was going to get it. She released like a week before my birthday. So I messaged her privately on Etsy, and she sent me a PDF version of it. I probably will still go back and buy the paper pattern because of how she trademarks it for PDF. She actually puts your address like watermarked across the pattern, which I totally understand. But in the future, I would like to have my address not flashed across it. So I'll probably go back and like from Keepsakes or someone and buy the official pattern. Same for Celebrate Summer, because I like to have that to keep and have, because right now it's just like it's a PDF version. I didn't print it out. So I will show you the pattern here. Evelyn and I, so we decided to start this on February 28th as like a goodbye to winter. Well, at least for the Northern Hemisphere, I should say. Kind of like a last ditch, this is it, we're done. Want to be done mentally at least on February 28th. With this, and we did hashtag Celebrate Chantilly Sal. So we didn't want to exclude anyone, especially because it wasn't going to be like, there was a high chance you weren't going to be able to get the pattern by February 28th, like if you didn't want to do the PDF version with Madame Chantilly. So we did it inclusive, like you could do any Chantilly project. You don't have to start it. You could work on one that you had already started. You could work on ones that one of hers that aren't even a tray. We just love Madame Chantilly. We love her patterns. So we're like, let's just make this a all-inclusive Chantilly sale. So this is a very pitiful start. I hesitate to even like show it to you. This was really when school was getting pretty rough. And so, but I forced myself to find 5 minutes to get maybe 10 stitches in. And honestly, I think I'm gonna have to rip them out and restart it because I think I started in the wrong place. I went against my norm with this tray and I regret it. So I think I'm gonna go back and do it. I didn't have the time to cut the fabric how I needed it. And so I decided to just like, well, let me just start 2 inches from the top and start in the center of the pattern. because again, I just didn't have the time or the brain power. So I did that. So I started technically in the, like one of the, I think it's snow. I'm assuming it's snow. David thinks it's cotton, but that doesn't make sense to me. So snow or cotton. One of those, what do you guys think? Is that snow or cotton? Tell me your thoughts. So I started in the top, and that's where I'm at. But again, don't get attached to it. It's probably going to be gone next time you see it. Oh, my coffee pot is telling me that your coffee is no longer going to be hot. So it's turning off. That's where I'm at. I'm also doing this on 40 count water green. I struggled with this. So a lot of you are probably, or some of you at least, were probably part of this on my Insta stories. I bought, but had found, I was really conflicted between this and aqua, which, it's part of my haul. This aqua, which is Witch Out. I bought this a while ago, like back in early January, because I just loved it and it was on sale and I wanted it. So I bought it. But then I saw the colors and I was like, well, this would be really pretty and this would work with the colors, and I really liked it. And a lot of people also liked it. And I was like, but I also really like this. So I was very conflicted. I think who was it? This is like months ago at this point. Someone messaged me, responded to my story. It was like, well, what kind of winter are you going for? Are you going for the bright? I think it was Miranda. Okay, I don't know. You were so right on how you approached it, and I wish I could remember your name. I'm very sorry. What winter are you going for? Are you going for like a bright, happy, cheerful, like bright winter, or kind of a darker, I forget the word she used. It was so correct, but this is the winter I'm going for, because this to me, I'm now realizing I'm going to be doing the celebrate spring or Easter on this color. This is more spring Easter. This is more winter. And then David was also like, well, what are you doing celebrate Christmas on? I was like, well, I'm doing celebrate Christmas on this color. He's like, well, I feel like those should coordinate. I was like, well, they don't have to coordinate. He's like, no, but we also don't want them to majorly contrast, because theoretically they're going to come out at the same time of the year. I'm like, all right, Mr. Rational, fine. So honestly, I just really wanted to stitch on this color. It's really what it came down to. But they were correct, and so we stuck with the water green. Yeah, water green for it. So 40 count. As you can tell, really loving 40 count. 40 count has pretty much become my go-to, unless size-wise, I don't want it that small, because just it happens to be these patterns are huge, and so 40 count makes them more of the size I'm looking for. But if a pattern is not designed on 40 count or 36 count, it could be too small. So, so thankfully right now it's a good, but I do love 32 count still. It just hasn't made sense for the project so far. Okay, so that was on the 28th. I will of course link Evelyn down below. She's really taken the community by storm a little bit. Her videos are incredible. She is an American doing a PhD program at Cambridge in England. But at Cambridge, she's studying American history. So it's kind of interesting. I remember hearing her talk about it. I was like, oh, that's kind of a roundabout way to go about it. But I think it's really cool. I think the time period I forget the exact time, colonial, I think. Sorry, watch her videos, learn her story. It's a great story. But she does these moments at the beginning of each of her videos that kind of does, it's like a history moment, and it's really, really great. So, and her finishing is awesome, and the way she just changes projects, I've really been enjoying Evelyn. So go check her out. So then the last thing I've worked on, and this I have kind of become obsessed with. So March's Whip Go goals were not appealing to me at all. It was 3 Leaves and Winter by Cricket Collection. And by March, I'm pretty much done with winter stitching. Or autumn stitching. I'm like, it's getting warm, it's getting humid, the bees are out, my cherry blossom was blooming, which is kind of funny. I felt bad, because I think I posted on my Georgia Girl one too, my IG, was when our cherry blossoms were blooming was when the snow really, really hit Cincinnati. Like they had feet of snow. And I posted that, not knowing that yet, because I hadn't like talked to any of my Cincinnati friends yet. And I posted that, and then I can't remember if it was Taylor or Paige, but they were like, you jerk, we just got like so many feet of snow and you're boasting about spring in Auburn. I was like, I'm sorry, that was not intentional. But that is why I'm happy I moved to Auburn. I will say, I made me very grateful to have left Cincinnati in that regard, because no thanks. Much happier with my cherry blossom and my bees. But yeah, so anyways, not happy, not feeling the March whip go goals. And also did not have time to stitch really in March. I started stitching, my first day stitching in March was my second to last day of school at the end of March. So just wasn't time. I just had to have either not slept or stitch. I mean, one of the two. I had to choose between sleeping and stitching. So what I decided to pick up though is I wanted something bright and cheerful and fun and easy to work on, because I was brain dead and was like, let's just pick up something fun. And also one that I was nowhere near my whip go goal yet. And I picked up Tequila by Stitch Rovia. This is exactly what I needed. I picked this up. So the timing was kind of, I finished school last Thursday, or I guess 2 Thursdays ago was my final. And then Friday morning, Marianne picked me and Neva up and we headed up to Asheville. And then from Asheville got dropped off in Atlanta. So on the way up to Asheville, I worked on this a lot. And I worked on it, we didn't have a test. There was like a day in between, we didn't have a test. And so I worked on this that day too, to kind of, we're almost there, you know? I love this so much. This is such a fun pattern. I love Stitch Rovia, who is Emma Congdon. By the way, it's the same person. This was a standalone pattern. You can get this on her Etsy, which I will link below. I'll post right here the where I was before, which as you will see was not very far. I'd only worked on this a couple times before last week, 2 weeks ago. I gotta stop saying that. A week and a half ago. And this has been the only thing I've worked on. My trip, which was just really to and from, and at home this past week, and then this weekend. This is all I've worked on. And this is where I am. I love it so much. Oh, I'm obsessed. Take life with a pinch of salt, a wedge of lime, and a shot of cliffhanger. Obviously, you know what it is. But this is so fun because it is very bright, cheerful, colorful. And you have little mini finishes. Like I would have a goal, you know, each time I sat down, and it just was so fun to have like a little mini finish. So, and it goes so much faster. This is on 40 count. What is this? Tequila. 40 count platinum, obviously. 40 count platinum. And all I have left is Tequila. And then this up here is repeated underneath the word. So I'm at 70, I think this is on Pattern Keeper. I was able to get it in Pattern Keeper. I think I'm at 74.5% done with it. So I'm sticking with this until it's done. This is gonna be, I've already been monogamous with it. I'm sticking with monogamy on this one. If you do this pattern, I recommend how I did it, and I think it worked well if you're this type of stitcher. I recommend doing all of the words at one, I started in the center. So I started with the wedge and then I did lime. And then I came up and did a of pinch of salt with a take life. So I kind of did it backwards, and then I came down and did a shot and a shot of. I would recommend doing that, and then doing any kind of I did do this, I think, so I could get was it that one? I did do a little bit of the greenery just to get the spacing right because I didn't want to miscount. But I would recommend doing all the words and anything that goes with it, like the salt or the shot, you know, and then do all the green and then go and do the flowers, because these all use the same colors. So at that point I was able, like, I just did the orange in every flower, and then I did the yellow in every flower, and then it just wasn't like constant. It was less color changes, if that makes sense. So I've just been enjoying this so much. It's so fun. I love Stitcherovia Emma Congdon. I've already pre-ordered her book that's coming out this month, which, gosh, just in a couple days, I think. Super excited about that. I will be doing a flip through of that. I decided I think I'm gonna try, and I've never done a flip through before. As soon as I get it, I'm hoping to do one of those for you guys, because I know it's hard. I personally didn't buy her last book until I saw someone else do a flip through. So, because if you can't see everything in there, you don't necessarily know what's in there, and it's not an insignificant amount it's not like it's $2. I mean, it's $25, $30, and what if you don't like anything in it? So I will do a flip through hopefully, but this is where I am with tequila. David's very excited about it too, so I'm gonna finish this up. This is, you can see, that's it. But I mean, that's a lot of stitching, so it's not the smallest part of the pattern, but that'll be really fun. So I'll do the same thing. I'll do all the orange, and then I'll do all the purple, all the pink, you know, I color complete at that point, versus letter complete. It's just less color changes for me. But yeah, super excited about that. This will definitely be a finish the next time I see you. And that's all the whips / starts for the last 3 months. For plans, finished tequila, and then my April whips that were called are Memorial Day by Hands On Design and Hammock at Sunset, which is my other full coverage piece that I'm doing for me. So I'll show you this one. I'll just kind of show you where I'm at. I have before photos still, but just in case, just a little refresh. This is Hands On Design Memorial Day. This was a wonderful gift from my friend Jen, Spoonerini Stitcher. And she fully kitted this up for me with the sulky threads. So this was a sulky pack. And I love it. So this is where I'm at on it. My goal for the year, which I realized I don't remember my thought process when making this goal. My goal for the year is to finish one flag. Not the words, but that's fine. So I'm gonna try, so this is the flags. I'm gonna try and finish this flag this month. Well, I'm gonna work on this flag this month. So I have at least the outline, and then I can work on a flag. And then maybe if I finish that, I'll go and do some words or something. But love this, excited to get back to it. I will work on this hopefully this month as soon as I finish tequila. This will be the first thing I work on after I finish tequila. So you'll see this next month. And then the other one is Hammock at Sunset, which is by Artist. Oh, and that's on 32 count Lugana cornflower from Fiber on a Whim. And then this is Hammock at Sunset, which I just love so much. So excited to experience this in about 84 days. And so this is this is not Artisy. This is Stitch X Cross Stitch Designs. I bought both of these patterns from everythingcrossstitch.com. And they're a huge Artisy seller. So I in my mind think Artisy, but it's not. It's Stitch X Cross Stitch Designs. And I'm also doing this on the 18 count Fiddler's Ada. I'm doing 2 strands. I am with the other one as well, 2 strands on it, because it's like the equivalent of 36 counts. So I'm doing 2 strands on it, and this is where I'm at. So my goal for here is to finish 1 page. I don't remember how far it comes down, but I don't have the pattern with me. But we'll see how far I get. This would be after Memorial Day. We'll see if I get to it, but I hope I do, because I think it would be a lot of fun to have a page done on that one too. So those are my soon-to-be plans. And then I guess this is also kind of haul, but not haul, because I had most of this already. But one thing that I have kind of put together to part of my wedding planning did involve cross stitch, and this will be done somewhat on my honeymoon, but I put together okay, well, let me back up. I wasn't intentionally going to do this, but on Etsy during my ventures there, I came across 2 designs that I absolutely fell in love with from Vlada X Stitch Etsy store. And I'll post the photos of each one individually here. It's the Florida State and with the 2 palms and hibiscus flowers. So the 2 palms have become kind of David's and my symbol a little bit, because where we're getting married, the resort we're getting married at, we'll be getting married on the beach, and it's at the Kissing Palms location. And so our arch, sort of, what will be right behind us are these 2 palm trees, and they're kind of coming out like that. And so we're getting married at the 2 palm trees, and that Florida State had those 2 palm trees that looks like the Kissing Palms location. So I loved that. And then hibiscus are my favorite flowers, absolute favorite flower. And I don't know if we're going to be able to incorporate hibiscus into they're not really good wedding flowers, but I mean, we'll be in the Keys and they'll be all over the place. So we're going to see a lot of hibiscus for sure. So I was like, okay, I really love those 2 patterns. And the way the Florida State comes, you could fit words there. And so I decided, I kind of had a kick of creativity a little bit and put the hibiscus, I combined the 2 patterns. In order to do that entire hibiscus is 1/1. Yes, I'm insane. Hibiscus 1/1 with the Florida State, and then I put words, and this is what I came up with, and I'm calling it the Axford Wedding Sampler, because that's going to be my new last name, and the date, and then the location. And I am so excited about it. I got my dad, the graphic designer, got his input on it, and so I don't want to start that before the wedding though. It seems not right. So I mean, I very much could, but I don't want to until like we are the Axfords. So but I did want to go ahead and put it all together so I could have it ready to go. I have not tried putting it in a pattern keeper yet. That's on my list, but I want to show you. So the fabric that you see there, I've had this fabric forever. I got it at Stitch Away. Obviously they didn't have it this year, last year, Stitch Away 2020. And it is Color and Cotton Malibu. And it's just, amazing. It is absolutely incredible. The modeling on it, it's like this like white, dark blue modeling on it. It's just the perfect color of water. So this is gonna be the fabric for it. It's 32 count. And then the colors, so it's charted all in DMC. And the Florida State looks great with the DMC, would look great with the DMC. But I was kind of like, that's a lot of chunks of blue and yellow. So the sky is 3 shades of blue. And then the sand is 2 big shades of yellow. And I'm like, that would look good for variegated. So I went through and saw what I had personally, and I didn't have everything. I had a lot, but not everything. And so my personal keepsakes shopper, Taylor, she's there every Saturday, or almost, I shouldn't say almost every Saturday. And she's super wonderful and helps me out when I need something from keepsakes. She kind of is my one-on-one person. And then recruited Susan, who is the floss whisperer at Keepsakes. I sent them the picture and I sent them what I wanted and what I was trying to go for, and they came up with wonderful options. So let me get this out easily. First of all, these are all the hibiscus colors. Like, oh, gorgeous. And then, so I'm converting the 3 blues in the sky, the water and the sand, and then the trunks of the palm trees to variegate. So the trunks and the palm trees are 2 different browns. I'm like, that's not necessary. So they're like kind of intertwined. So that was an easy one. That's gonna be, the 2 browns are gonna be, actually I have the DMC here. So it's these two browns, which are 801 and 938. And that is getting converted to chestnut by Weeks Dye Works. So that's gonna be the trunks. And then the water, it's these two like teals, three teals. It's three teals. And that is 38, 48, 38, 49, and 964 are the three DMCs. And I'm converting them to these three teals, which are Peacock by Gentle Arts, Isle Murata by Weeks Dye Works, have to use that, and Island Breeze by Weeks Dye Works. And once I actually start this, I'll go into this a little bit more detail, but I'm just kind of showing you what I've come up with. This was part of what I was doing over the last 3 months. It's those three. And then the sand are these two. So let me get this out of the way. I could have done this differently. It's fine. The sand is 3823 and 3855. So it's these two yellows. And then Susan got them converted to these two, which are a little bit more brown, but I think these were two, they would work, don't get me wrong. But I like these look more sand to me than these do. So I'm happy with her conversion, and that is Tea and Biscuits by Classic Colorworks and Rose Gold by Color and Cotton are the two there. And then the sky proved a little difficult. The three colors for the sky are 518, 519, and 3761. So it's these three blues. Well, it's out of order. It would be dark, middle, light, okay, are the three sky colors. And Susan got Delft Blue from Color and Cotton for 518, which is pretty close. And then she chose Blueberry Tart for the middle color. I originally chose Arctic by Color and Cotton. And I think, so this is the DMC, this is Susan's color, my color. I think they both would work. I'm gonna have to see it, I'm gonna have to start stitching it before I choose between those two, because the light color she chose is 3761. She chose this color, which is spot on, and that is Morris Blue by Weeks Dye Works. And then when I put the four together, I can't decide. So this is with Arctic in the middle. And then this is with Blueberry Tart in the middle. And they're both gorgeous combinations. I love what she chose, but I also like the Arctic. So I think that's she was hesitant about the Arctic because it is very variegated. There are it ranges quite a bit. And that wasn't quite what she thought it needed. And then these are the three that she chose. Again, gorgeous, love them. I might go with that. So that's the only unknown right now is like Blueberry Tart or the other one, Arctic. So that's kind of the, as my mom and I like to call it, a game time decision. That would be a game time decision. But I mean, it all looks just gorgeous on this fabric and I'm super excited. Can't start that for 82 days. So yes, we have a countdown. So, but that's what I put that all together the last few months. So I wanted to share that with you now. When I actually started, I'll go through all of that again and let you know exactly what I've decided. But yeah, so that's kind of a future plan. Now I have some Stitchy Kindness and some haul. Most of the, oh, sorry, wait, I did have one more thing I wanted to mention. So this was something that I'd asked, I can't believe I'm already an hour. Gosh, I can talk a lot. This was something I'd asked in my last video, was I had started and showed Shores of Hawker and Hollow. This was my new year, new start. And I was conflicted because I really wanted a variegated for the water. And you all had some wonderful suggestions. Oh, David's home. You all had some wonderful suggestions, and someone mentioned this. Oh, it's what
Seazook Stitch. That's her YouTube name. Someone was like, I think it was Candy, my lovely Candy, I miss you. Was like, you should use whatever she used on her By the Bay, her long one. And I was like, oh yeah, that was gorgeous. And so she asked her, found out what it was, and sent it to me. And I was like, I think I have that. And I went, and I do. And it was a gift from Jen that she had given me last year. She had given me this floss. So I'm like, it's all perfect. So what I will be using for the water is Threadworks 1052. It's not a video with me without dropping something. And it is just, it's showing up a little darker. It's lighter than that. Probably yellow's not right, to use for that, but yeah, it's really pretty. Really excited about that. So just wanted to share that. Thanks for everyone's input. Now for haul and stitchy kindness. They just got back from the park. So the one haul I did, and again, this is my personal shopper, Taylor, helped me out with this. So I got this for Auld Lang Syne, which I just love, from Hello from Liz Matthews. Huge fan of this. I really struggled with what to do for this because I liked this, but I wanted it to, I don't know, I felt like it's a New Year's thing and needs a little sparkle to it. And I think I put in my last video, I was a little struggling with it a little bit. Well, my friend on Instagram, I followed her, she's followed me, Cathy Grimes. I don't want to get this wrong. I'll link her below on Instagram. CDOAN64.
I love you.
She's like, she sent me a photo and she was like, hey, this is what I did for that. Sounds like it might be something you're looking for. And so I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And she did it on 36 count opalescent and then had navy blue etoile for the fabric. Floss. He's throwing me off, sorry. So I did 36 count. They're opalescent from Keepsakes. And then I want a little more variegation than that. So I'm using Midnight by Gentle Arts for it. And I'll be doing this 36 count. Let me take this off. 2/2 as usual. For all things. I don't know when I'm going to start this, but I officially have it all planned out. You can't really see, I don't know if you can really see this spark. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So opalescent with the midnight blue. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much, Cathy. I'm really excited about it. So that was great. And then I've gotten quite a few months for Fabric of the Month. I'm part of Fabric of the Month with Color and Cotton. I got December, January, and then February I think is arriving tomorrow. A little bit behind, but that's okay. So for December, and you've probably already seen this if you watch anyone else that's part of the Fabric of the Month, but this is the King's Blue. This was December. Of course, I got 32 count, and it's a quarter yard. So it's a little more deep. It's deeper. That's more it. The deep blue. Gorgeous. And then starting this year, I am now getting 32 count and 40 count. So everything that I get will be in both counts. And so for January, it was Moroccan clay, which, no idea what I'll do on this, but I love it. It just screams kind of fall to me. This could be like a good fall. It's kind of got pinks. It's a pinky, orange, yellow. It just screams fall. So I'm really excited. So I got 40 count and 32 count for this one. Okay, what else? Oh, and then I finally got David's Christmas gift because I think I mentioned in my last video that he had done this huge order on 1-2-3 Stitch, and he did it like in late November, and as of Christmas, it still hadn't arrived. As of early January, it still hadn't arrived. It finally arrived. We met his mom halfway. We went to Noonan. There's a restaurant there that we love, and met her there. It's exactly halfway, and she gave me my Christmas gift. So what he got me was he just went through my wish list and just like hit Yes. So I wanted, so these fabrics I just wanted to try. I don't have any actual plans for them. I just liked them and wanted to try them. So 32 count Country French Rain. Yeah, that's about it. 13 by 18 cut. Really pretty. This is what the Snow Village was called for on, and I really liked it. Again, don't have a plan for it. 40 count Alabaster. I just got a tiny little cut of that. I just wanted to see what that kind of white was like, and I really like it. It's not stark white, which I really like. I mean, it looks stark white, but it's not. It's a little bit warmer than that. So I liked that. And then 32 count light mocha. Quite a bit of this. Nice neutral to have. And 32 count. I don't have, most of my neutrals right now are actually in 40 count. So I'm glad it has in 32 count. And then 40 count anthracite, which is coming, it's like a nice gray. Like, I think this would be good for like chalkboard things. That just screams chalkboard, but it doesn't have any modeling on it. So if you wanted the modeling, but I love it's just a good gray, good dark gray. So loved that. And then he also got me 2 patterns. He got me Cricut Collection Beach, which I've been wanting to do. So I love that. Don't know, I would have to change some of it, but to make it more me as I do with these things. But I'm very happy to have it. And it comes with all the buttons. And then he got one, of course, for me to do for him. And that is Let's Drink Beer from Imaginating. So love that. I have the wine version of this. And so he's like, well, we're going to do wine. We got to have beer. Like, you're not wrong. So, so I'll do this for him one day too. It looks like a lot of fun. And then he actually fully kitted up these 2. God bless him. He got all of the DMC that goes with both of these. So, so yes, full package, but it's wonderful. A lot of great fabric stash enhancers. He did good. And then last bit of haul is the, so in the package that came from Keepsakes with Paige, to Asheville, included the floss for the Axford sampler, the my finishes, and then also some sweet surprises because I love these people. So the floss, okay, so this first thing, I had seen this during the trunk shows at Stitch Away and fell in love with it and asked them to hold it for me. And then when I was telling them the flosses that when we were going through all of that, I was like, oh, also I think I have a needle minder. Can you just go ahead and charge me for that too and throw that in the box? Well, I got charged, my credit card got charged the amount for either the flosses or the needle minder. So I'm not sure which one's the gift. Like, it should be double the amount. So either the flosses or this needle minder are the gift. Either way, thank you so much. Very grateful for either one. But this is the needle minder to the beach. Had to, right? It's my blue. It's the beach. It's gonna go on anything beach related. So absolutely love that. And then, gosh, and it's like a sturdy magnet. Like, I barely can get it off here. So love that. And then this pattern was in there. Seashell silhouette. Love it. I almost see this being like a wrap around something. Not necessarily a drum, but like a wrap around a candle or something like that. So absolutely love that. And then Lynnie. This is Megan. Just thought you needed this fabric. Love you, Lynnie. I love you, Lynnie. I miss you. I miss you all so much. And I love it's on paper. It says the UPS truck is the adult version of the ice cream truck. And that is so freaking true. Whenever, even USPS truck, so I'm like, ooh, what did we get today? I love mail. I love packages. And we've gotten a lot of them recently. It's always so fun. I have to hold them hostage though, where like if the UPS truck came and delivered something I'd bought off of Etsy probably, but I wasn't done studying yet, I would hold it hostage like in our guest room until I was done studying. It was like my motivator to like, okay, you can't have fun with that until you finish what you're supposed to do today. Med school, hashtag med school. Okay, so this is 40 count color and cotton frost, and she gave me a fat quarter of it. Oh, look how gorgeous. Ouch, I just stuck myself. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't get the right color of it. It's like a green blue, it's frost. I mean, that's such a good name for it. It's like a green blue light modeling. Like I guess it's more green with blue modeling. It's gorgeous. I love it. No idea what I'm going to use it for, but I guess this would be, like, if you can get this. See, it's like green, but then that's very blue. So it's just a green blue, light green blue. Love it. I love it so much. And I love color and cotton so much. So very happy to add that to my stash. Thank you so much to everyone that contributed towards that. Thank you. Thank you. It really brightened my life. You all brighten my life. I love you. So that is all of the haul. Wanted to shout out a dear friend who has come back to FlossTube, and I'm super excited. Kyle, I'm gonna try it, Kyle Reckemeyer. Is that right? I remember your video. He's like, see if anyone can say my last name right. Is it Reckemeyer? He is Stitching and Sound here on YouTube, and I will link his YouTube and I will link his Instagram because he's very active on Instagram. So he just posted his first video in quite a while, and it was wonderful, and he's got amazing projects. He's really fun. I mean, I guess I have to do the adult warning. He's not G or PG, but he is super great, and I really enjoy him. So welcome back, Kyle. We missed you. We're happy you're back. Try to think. I haven't really watched FlossTube, so it's hard for me to shout out anyone new. I will make a better list for next video. This is already an hour and 12 minutes long. I did want to say though too, because I did post about this, and so I want to mention it here, and other FlossTubers are doing it too. But back in the fall when I finished Autumn Quakers, I shared my own words for it. I changed it from All Hallows Eve to Autumn's Harvest, and I was happy to share that. I still am. If you've emailed me recently or anytime in the last few months and haven't heard back from me, please email me again. I swear I did not ignore you. I just missed. I haven't even looked at that email in too long of a time, so please email me again. I plan to check that more frequently, and I will send you those words. But anyways, I shared that with a lot of people, and a lot of people asked me, how can we compensate you for that? And I'm like, I don't need to be compensated. I'm happily giving it for free. They're like, we really want to do something and to say thank you. And so I know I'd seen other FlossTubers use the Buy Me a Coffee. And so I set up my own Buy Me a Coffee. So for people to contribute, not contribute. I mean, I have zero expectation. There is zero obligation for anyone to even click on that link, to even look at that link. But if you feel so inclined, if you feel like giving a med student a cup of coffee, you have that opportunity now. I will always give freely whatever I am capable of giving. I seriously do not do it for any other reason than just to give back to this wonderful community. So if you feel so led and inclined, it's there. If not, you can skip forward through the rest of this. So thank you to those who have already contributed towards it. I very much appreciate it. It does go to coffee because I drink too much coffee, but it's fine. We're fine. But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much to those who really encouraged me to set that up. It's there, it's not there, it's whatever you want. And I just really thank you all for your support and your love and your encouragement. You made me want to come back. I mean, I always wanted to come back, but it's nice to know that there's people out there that want you to come back, So just, I'm happy to be back. I'm hoping, so I don't know if anyone else can believe this. I certainly cannot. My 1 year FlossTube anniversary is in like less than 2 weeks. So I plan to be back that day doing something. IDK what? I have to think about it a little bit more, but I'll be back that day if all goes according to plan.
And we'll do a little special FlossTube anniversary because I can't believe it's been a year at all. So, so I think that's it for now. I'm just checking my list one more time. No, I think that's it for now. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful week, a wonderful month, wonderful couple weeks whenever I see you again. And as always, you can always message me on Instagram. I am way more active on Instagram than I am email. So please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to talk with you in any capacity. If you have a question, if you just want to chat about something. Oh, that reminds me, I did get a message today that reminded me, I've gotten quite a few messages asking if I'm coming to StitchCon because that is coming up. People are making plans for that. Unfortunately, I will not be attending StitchCon this year. Between school and wedding in June, I just don't think I can squeeze it in. I wish I could. It hurts me that I can't make it. But I hope you all have a wonderful time, and I'm hoping I'll be able to go next year. But next year's also boards, so probably not. Maybe the following year. But I take boards again the following year, and then it's graduation. I hope one day I make it. I really do. I'm dying to come back to Stitch Away. I'm dying to do StitchCon. I miss retreats. They're wonderful. If you ever have the opportunity to go on a retreat, go. You will not regret it. It's always wonderful people. There's always someone there to connect to, and it's really a special time. So I really encourage anyone who is able to and has the opportunity to go on a retreat if you can, for sure. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I miss you all. I'm happy to be back for now. And yeah, if you have any questions, just always feel free to reach out. Always happy to talk. And I think that's it. Have a good one. Happy stitching, everyone.